Hollywood Shuffle from 1987 didn't just entertain. It launched a scathing, satirical attack on the entertainment industry, bravely exposing the raw struggles of black actors. But lurking within its bold humor was a scene so audacious, so utterly uncensored, it threatened to condemn the entire film.
Hi, my name is Robert Townsend, and it's hard to make a movie in Hollywood, but I did, with the help of a few friends and a few credit cards. What's the line?
I ain't be got no weapon. I ain't be got no weapon.
What was this volatile moment? Why did it ignite such a furious reaction? Prepare to uncover the full, harrowing story of the scene that nearly sealed Hollywood Shuffle's fate, threatening to keep its powerful message from ever reaching the world. Hollywood Shuffle, the unveiling of a bitter truth. In 1987, a seismic shift rumbled through American cinema with the release of Hollywood Shuffle. More than mere comedy, it was a searing exposé, a raw, imaginative unveiling of the brutal reality black actors endured in the entertainment industry. Robert Townsend, the visionary force behind it all, directing, producing, co-writing, and starring, etched the poignant saga of Bobby Taylor, a young black man ensnared by the elusive dream of Hollywood stardom. Through a potent blend of stark storytelling, haunting daydreams, and cutting sketches, the film dragged into the harsh light the painful, often absurd obstacles that Bobby confronted on his desperate quest. Bobby, like so many others, yearned for roles of substance, for characters with dignity and depth. Yet, in the gilded cage of 1980s Hollywood, black actors were relentlessly shunted into demeaning caricatures: criminals, slaves, subservient butlers, or crude comic relief. This relentless typecasting suffocated true talent, making meaningful portrayals a cruel impossibility. Bobby's odyssey plunges him into an audition for Jive Time Jimmy's Revenge, a project festering with archaic, offensive stereotypes. Though it beckons as his grand break, Bobby's soul is torn asunder. The role is anathema to his very being. The industry, ever demanding, craves not the authentic Bobby, but a mere imitation, a carbon copy of the celebrated Eddie Murphy. This insidious pressure, this demand for self-betrayal, even infiltrates Bobby's dreams. In one of the film's most unsettling and iconic sequences, he envisions an audition hall where every black actor mirrors Eddie Murphy from his 1985 music video. Clad in leather, adorned with fake mustaches, each one delivering a grotesque, exaggerated impression of Murphy's signature laugh. It's a moment simultaneously darkly comedic, brutally biting, and profoundly satirical, tearing open the industry's suffocating demand for actors to conform to a prepackaged mold, abandoning their unique selves. Another unforgettable scene, Black Acting School, mercilessly lampoons the grotesque notion that black actors must be tutored in the art of playing servants or thugs to achieve any semblance of success. The film unfurls as a relentless barrage of short sketches and unsettling fantasy scenes, each a pointed missile aimed at a different festering wound in Hollywood's underbelly. These vignettes relentlessly target every facet of the film and TV landscape, from grim crime dramas to saccharine soap operas, from chilling zombie flicks to shallow sitcoms. Each sketch lays bare the industry's unwavering embrace of harmful stereotypes and the crushing pressure on actors like Bobby to succumb or face professional annihilation. Some scenes are exaggerated to grotesque proportions, yet the message, stark and unyielding, remains chillingly clear. Robert Townsend poured the bitter truth of his own experiences into the narrative. In his nascent career, he was cruelly told he wasn't black enough for certain roles, a wound that cut deep. Refusing to yield, he vowed to craft a film that screamed the unvarnished truth of the black actor's plight. With the vital collaboration of co-writer Keenen Ivory Wayans, Townsend forged his raw frustration into a film that, even today, strikes with devastating accuracy. The very creation of Hollywood Shuffle was an act of defiant will. Shunned by major studios, Townsend plundered his own savings, even resorting to a desperate cascade of credit card applications to finance his audacious vision. To stretch every precious dollar, he devised ingenious methods to rent camera equipment at rock-bottom rates, snagging gear on a Thursday, returning it Monday, thus seizing 3 full days of shooting for the price of one. While later reports whispered of a total cost closer to $400,000, it remained a triumph of micro-budget filmmaking against the colossal machinery of Hollywood. Despite its meager resources, Hollywood Shuffle erupted into a monumental success, now revered as a landmark in independent black filmmaking. It tore open the curtain on the profound injustices black actors faced, igniting a beacon for countless others to bravely tell their own stories. Townsend's portrayal of Bobby, both searingly humorous and profoundly heartfelt, anchors the film, his unyielding presence carrying its weighty message from start to finish. In 2023, a testament to its enduring power, the film was resurrected in a 4K Blu-ray edition by the Criterion Collection. This meticulously restored version includes a new, revelatory audio commentary by Robert Townsend himself, offering a deeper, more intimate glimpse into its defiant creation and its profound resonance today. The scene that sparked a clash. The struggle to bring Hollywood Shuffle to life was not solely defined by financial woes or industry resistance. It was also a crucible of creative conflict, particularly between Robert Townsend and his long-standing collaborator Keenen Ivory Wayans. One fierce disagreement, a pivotal clash, centered on a single audacious scene. A scene that would ultimately define a crucial turning point in Townsend's burgeoning career. The very core of this contentious scene lay in Townsend's character, Bobby Taylor, trapped in a dream. In this disorienting vision, callous Hollywood executives coldly declare their sole interest, an Eddie Murphy type. The dream quickly spirals into a surreal and deeply unsettling nightmare. Bobby finds himself engulfed by a throng of black actors, each a grotesque parody, adorned in leather jackets, sporting absurd fake mustaches, and contorting themselves into exaggerated, unsettling renditions of Eddie Murphy's iconic laugh. It was a moment designed to be funny, yes, but its bite was venomous, its satire unflinching, and its very existence pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable. Keenen Ivory Wayans harbored profound doubts, wrestling with the scene's inclusion. He feared the immense risk, the potential fallout from directly challenging Hollywood's entrenched practices, and, most critically, from openly naming Eddie Murphy, a titan of the industry. The scene's deliberate use of elements evocative of blackface and its over-the-top impressions were intended to expose how the industry twisted black actors into narrow, prescribed molds of success. The two friends, bound by a shared vision, yet divided by this single moment, engaged in intense, agonizing debate over its message, its tone, and the explosive reaction it might provoke. But in the end, as the film's director, Townsend made the unwavering decision to keep the scene. He understood, with a clarity born of conviction, that it spoke with chilling precision to the film's very essence. The brutal reality of black performers being relentlessly typecast, forced to shed their identities and become mere caricatures. That singular, bold choice not only cemented the scene as one of the most unforgettable in Hollywood Shuffle, but it also, astonishingly, captured the attention of Eddie Murphy himself. Eddie Murphy's astonishing reaction. When Hollywood Shuffle burst onto the scene, its impact was immediate, echoing far beyond ordinary audiences to resonate among the titans of Tinseltown. Among those watching, with bated breath, was Eddie Murphy, already a colossal star, a reigning king of 1980s Hollywood. The film contained a searing, unforgettable moment where casting directors explicitly declared their search for an Eddie Murphy type, a line that, like a surgeon's scalpel, laid bare the brutally limited opportunities available to black actors, unless they conformed to a narrow, pre-approved mold. Robert Townsend and Keenen Ivory Wayans had known, deep in their gut, that this line was a powder keg, especially for Murphy himself. So, when on a tense promotional tour in Europe, the electrifying news reached them. Eddie Murphy wanted to see the film. A message from Murphy himself, stating that everyone was talking about their movie, sent a jolt of both exhilarating hope and cold panic through Townsend and Wayans. A private screening was hastily arranged for Eddie in a small, intimate theater in Burbank, California, a space designed for perhaps 40 souls. Yet, Eddie arrived with his full, formidable entourage, a retinue of some 15 people. As the film unspooled, laughter filled the room, the sketches drawing genuine mirth. But then, the air thickened. The moment they had dreaded, the line that had haunted their thoughts, arrived. An Eddie Murphy type. Suddenly, the laughter died. A suffocating silence descended. Townsend and Wayans held their breath, their hearts pounding, utterly unsure of Murphy's reaction. One of Eddie's hulking bodyguards even leaned in, pointing out that his boss's name had just been spoken. The tension was unbearable until, like a thunderclap, Eddie Murphy erupted into roaring laughter. He found the moment hilarious, taking it in stride, even joking with Townsend and Wayans after the credits rolled. A wave of profound relief washed over Townsend. He approached Eddie, ready to apologize for the audacious use of his name. But instead of anger, Murphy met him with unexpected kindness. He revealed he was planning a stand-up concert film and was actively seeking a director. That project would become the legendary Eddie Murphy Raw. And in an astonishing twist of fate, he offered Townsend the chance to direct it. For Townsend, it was a seismic turning point. Not only had Eddie Murphy embraced the joke with magnanimity, but he had also bestowed upon Townsend an immeasurable opportunity. It was a testament to how Hollywood Shuffle, born of a minuscule budget and immense struggle, had, against all odds, flung open doors and forged bridges in the most unforeseen ways. How Hollywood Shuffle changed the game. By the mid-1980s, Robert Townsend had cautiously dipped his toes into the treacherous waters of the film world. He'd secured minor roles in a handful of features, including a part in A Soldier's Story, a film lauded for its dignified and profound portrayal of black characters. Critically acclaimed, even garnering 3 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. This experience ignited a fierce resolve in Townsend to forge a career crafting meaningful, challenging work that truly mirrored the complex lives of black people. Yet, Hollywood, in its cold indifference, utterly rejected his vision. When he dared to tell his agent he sought more roles akin to A Soldier's Story, the dismissal was swift and brutal. Townsend was informed with chilling clarity that the industry allotted only one major black film per year, and that year's coveted slot had already been filled. It was a harsh, agonizing reality check, forcing Townsend to confront the abysmal limitations of opportunity for black actors and storytellers. While Townsend poured his raw frustration into the audacious creation of Hollywood Shuffle, Eddie Murphy was simultaneously ascending to the zenith of global superstardom. But even Murphy, at the very peak of his unparalleled fame, was frequently cast in films where his characters existed in a vacuum, with scant interaction with other black characters. His co-stars were almost invariably white, and he bore the crushing weight of representing black talent within a system that offered precious few pathways for others to follow. Critics, like the unrelenting Spike Lee, openly challenged Murphy to wield his immense influence. to carve out space for his peers within the industry's suffocating confines. Driven by a burgeoning sense of collective power, Murphy began to publicly champion a cohort he dubbed the Black Pack, an inner circle of incandescent black comedians and creatives that included himself, Paul Mooney, Arsenio Hall, Keenen Ivory Wayans, and Robert Townsend. Murphy, recognizing Townsend's raw talent, made the decisive move, selecting him to direct his stand-up concert film, Raw, and inviting Wayans to join the project as a vital writer and producer. But Townsend's monumental breakthrough with Hollywood Shuffle did not, with a sudden flourish, fling open all the industry's locked doors. When pressed in later interviews about the deluge of roles that surely followed, Townsend's reply was a wry, painful jest. He was only offered the parts that Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor had already rejected. It was a bitter truth, cloaked in humor. The system, rigid and slow to yield, continued to churn out roles for black actors that were still rooted in the very stereotypes Townsend had so fiercely sought to dismantle. As the years ground on, new clichés, equally insidious, began to slither into the cinematic landscape. The magical Negro emerged, wise, ethereal black characters whose sole purpose was to serve as conduits for white characters' personal growth. Then came the black lady therapist, the ubiquitous black best friend, and even grotesque comedic archetypes like Medea, played for cheap laughs, but still shackled to exaggerated, simplified versions of black identity. Still, the undeniable truth remained. Hollywood Shuffle irrevocably altered Townsend's trajectory. He inked a multi-picture deal with Warner Brothers, steadfastly continuing to tell the kinds of stories Hollywood had long ignored. He commanded the director's chair and starred in The 5 Heartbeats, 1991, a soul-stirring drama inspired by the legendary Motown era, and The Meteor Man, 1993, a groundbreaking achievement as one of the first superhero comedies featuring a black lead. His pioneering work shattered barriers, carving out vital space for new narratives and, crucially, for new kinds of black heroes. More than 3 decades have passed, and the landscape, though still scarred, has undeniably shifted. The film industry now, haltingly, embraces a wider, more diverse spectrum of black voices, from the formidable Denzel Washington and magnetic Will Smith, to the profound Viola Davis, regal Regina King, compelling Daniel Kaluuya, and dynamic John Boyega. Today's generation of black creatives, learning from the struggles of those who came before, forge supportive circles, echoing the original Black Pack, lifting each other to bring audacious, unprecedented visions to the screen. In one of Hollywood Shuffle's most poignant scenes, Bobby seeks solace and counsel from his Uncle Ray, a barber who, burdened by life, sacrificed his own dreams to sustain his family. Bobby, consumed by doubt, agonizes whether pursuing his acting aspirations is a fool's errand. But his uncle's palpable regrets serve as a stark, haunting reminder. The cost of surrendering one's dreams can be far greater than any failure. Thankfully, Robert Townsend never surrendered, and because of his unwavering resolve, countless other voices in black filmmaking were able to rise, to finally be heard. A comedy classic with a shadow of controversy. When Hollywood Shuffle was released, it received widespread praise for its sharp social commentary. On Rotten Tomatoes, 88% of reviews were positive. On Metacritic, it scored 74 out of 100, reflecting generally favorable reviews. Film critic Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times was one of the film's biggest supporters. He acknowledged its limited resources, but praised Robert Townsend's talent and ambition, seeing the film as a powerful debut that would open doors. However, Ebert also noted that some of the comedy sketches ran too long, and that a few supporting performances lacked depth. Richard Harrington from The Washington Post described the film as funny, touching, and technically impressive given its tiny budget. He, like many critics, was amazed by how polished the film looked, despite its do-it-yourself origins. However, not all feedback was positive. Some critics felt Townsend failed to address other important issues. Jamie Bernard from the New York Post argued that while the film challenged stereotypes of Black Americans, it still included harmful portrayals of other groups, such as a stereotypical gay hairdresser. Scholar Harriet Margolis added that the film overlooked gender issues, which weakened its overall message. Where the cast stands now. Surprisingly, many of the cast members from this small independent film went on to have huge careers. Robert Townsend, who played the lead character, also took on multiple roles in the film's skits. After Hollywood Shuffle, he created and starred in the sitcom The Parent 'Hood and directed the beloved musical drama The 5 Heartbeats, becoming a champion for Black filmmakers. Townsend was married to Sherry Jones from 1990 until their divorce in 2001. They have 3 children, including their daughter, Sky Townsend. Keenen Ivory Wayans, who played Bobby's co-worker Donald, also created unforgettable characters like Jerry Curl. The film's success helped Wayans fund his next project, I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. Soon after, he created the groundbreaking sketch comedy show In Living Color, which introduced stars like Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, and Jennifer Lopez. Wayans also directed comedy films like Scary Movie, cementing his status as a major force in comedy. John Witherspoon played Mr. Jones, the loud and funny boss at the Winky Dinky Dog Stand. He became a fan favorite as Pops in the Wayans Brothers and the Friday movies. He also voiced Granddad in the Boondocks. Witherspoon passed away from a heart attack on October 29, 2019, at the age of 77. Anne Marie Johnson played Lydia, Bobby's supportive girlfriend. She went on to have a successful career in TV shows like In the Heat of the Night, Melrose Place, and JAG. Johnson also served as the Screen Actors Guild's first national vice president in 2008. Lastly, Helen Martin played Bobby's wise and outspoken grandmother. Already known from shows like Good Times and 227, she continued to act in comedies and movies like Don't Be a Menace. Martin passed away from a heart attack on March 25, 2000, at age 90.